Oh, hey there. It's Sunday night, and I am exhausted. So obviously, I thought I would just stream and talk to you tonight. Um, I told my wife, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go do a live, and she's just like, well, who wants to talk to you on Sunday night? I was like, you have kind of have a point there about who wants to talk to me, but thought I would just kind of recap the week and project into next week. And if you're around, if you want to stop by and chat about what's going on in your business, I am more than happy to talk business today. You can just put your questions in the chat below. But um, so this week was a busy week. I met with some potential franchise candidates this week. We our main widget business, which is a brick and mortar business. We ended up getting more customers. What's up? My son's calling me. Yeah.
Do you have an Allen wrench?
No, I
It's
don't.
not named
Look,
Allen.
no, it's not. And so so there was that, and then also um, in addition to the gain of customers at our main uh, company, I was able to put a lot of interesting things in motion this week, and interact with some franchise candidates, like I just said. But I wanted to just address some of the things that I noticed this week when talking to a whole bunch of different people about their businesses and how their businesses will actually um, like how to get them to what their goals are. And one of the things I've noticed is that oftentimes when people start businesses and they have good intentions about where they want to go, they often lack a plan as to how to get there. And you probably have heard a million different, I don't know, motivational gurus talk about how you can get to where your goals are and roadmap that. And it's a lot easier said than done. But oftentimes when people are confronted with the magnitude of what it takes to grow, start, and run a business that actually works, it gets pretty daunting and overwhelming. So that often ends them coming to the conclusion that it's just too much, it's too much stress than they want to deal with. But the benefit of starting a business and going through the headache of going through every nook and cranny to get your business right is that you end up with the business that's solid and has a good foundation. You can't replace having a good foundation in anything. You have to have a good foundation with your spouse or the person that you're dating or person you're in a relationship with. There's the foundations of relationships are communication, trust, and honesty, things like that. And so the same thing with your business. If you want to grow to the next level, you have to have a good foundation to build on that actually propels you into the future. You can't just open up the door and expect that it's going to happen. I have a lot of people who have a business they want to start, but there's nothing behind their goal. It's just them with a desire to do something that makes them money because they know that running a business is a good way to build wealth. But the problem is that without the plan to build wealth, you're not really building anything. I mean, maybe you attract some people to your you attract some people to your um to your hobby business or your side hustle, but ultimately what you're not going to do is build a business that you can retire from. And so one of the reasons why I was on a radio interview yesterday, and I did a local radio interview here in the Boston area, and one of the questions that the host asked was, well, why did you start the podcast, like the video podcast? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And it's a good question. And so I started this podcast, this video cast, because I had already been an entrepreneur for about 20 years. And I have failed enough for me and for you. And it's been a crazy road. I'm gonna sit back while I talk to you because it's a little uncomfortable sitting up. And the road has been interesting. It's been filled with highs, filled with lows, filled with anything but kind of middle of the road mediocrity, average experience, right? It's I feel like it's often been on one side of the spectrum or the other, filled with potential, people who believed in me, people who helped me out, people who didn't believe in me, people who hated on me, people who wanted to see me win, people who wanted to see me lose. And this is probably going to be a lot of your experience. There's never just one set of people that are going to be in your path to get you to where you want to go. In addition to the obvious long steps that or long the amount of hours it takes to kind of get good at business and to be effective in business, it's even compounded, like the difficulty level is compounded by what you come across as in people wanting to try to either build you up or tear you down based off of what you're showing them. And but that's all kind of like a distraction. I want to get back to the interview I had tomorrow. Yeah, I mean yesterday. And I got to the point in the interview when a shout out to Treese, Miss Snake Charmer, as she calls herself, Snake Charmer, if you're from the Boston area. She asked some really good questions, and then we got into her business. And this is interesting because, she has her own publishing business. She has written, this is her second book, she said, and she likes to help individuals publish. And so we were starting to talk about what her goals were. And so some of the things that came up in her our kind of back and forth were that she wanted to try to get to a certain amount of money in revenue. And well, actually, no, she didn't have a revenue goal, but I asked her what she needed to do in order to get to her goal. Like, what was her number? What would allow her to retire comfortably? And here's the thing: you can't just pick it out of the air. And I know that the interview was only about 45 minutes or so, but like, I really stressed the importance of her thinking about what number she would need to actually achieve in order to get herself comfortable. And I was telling her about the book that I'm actually going to be writing. Well, actually, in the middle of writing right now. About a quarter of the way through the book. And like at the beginning, one of the goals for the book is to start by helping people calculate what they're going to need when they retire. Like, what are you going to need when you get to the place where you want to call it quits, you want to walk away? Like, what is it that you like doing now? Do you like traveling? What do your bills look like? Do you want to enjoy hobbies? Do you like to get a new car every 3 years? What kind of car? How much does that seem to cost you when you buy it? Like, all these things are real factors that one has to consider when they're thinking about what they're going to do to increase their wealth, their happiness, or whatever, right, in the future. And so I laid that out there to her, and I was talking to her about how I came up with a formula that is going to be in the book where you can calculate what that number is going to be. And then you take that number that you've calculated based off of the formula I've given. And then that is the number that you either have to ultimately sell your business for or generate in cash over the years that your business is open in order to actually retire and live the life that you want over however long you think you're going to live, whether that's 20 years, 25, 30, depends on when you retire, what age you retire, but you need to do the math on that. And it's going to have a formula that speaks to that. But it's funny because we got to the point where we were talking about the business, and she has multiple businesses that she runs, but I think she also has a job. And, the funny thing is that, she was really intense about wanting to do her business, and wanting her business to do well, which most people do. They don't want their business to do badly, but the thing is that she had never really put detailed thought into what she wanted to, how much money she actually wanted and needed to make, and what was it all for. And a lot of our answers would be the same if we talked about what it's all for. Probably family, probably so that you can retire nicely, so you don't have to depend on Social Security if and when it's still available, if it's still available at the time that you retire. That's debatable, right? But the point is that we all are doing or engaging in our business for some reason. We're not engaging in our business for no reason. So that means that when we are engaged in doing business, um, that we have to build businesses that have the potential to feed our future lifestyle. So feeding your future lifestyle is critical in how you build your business and how you structure it. But the more jarring thing is how many people don't have plans for the future. How many people don't have so even if your plan is not a good plan, it's amazing how many people don't even have that, right? They don't even have they've never even taken the time to think about what they want to do to move the needle beyond a year from now, 12 months from now. And I think it's important that we all give it, we all think about like what it is to like be able to finish our careers with you know whether that is by working or building a business, whatever the case is, that we have to give some thought to it. There's a I'm looking at a article here from CNBC about how much Americans have saved for retirement at any age, and it says that by 25 to 35, that the median savings in the U.S. is $14,000, with the average savings being about $37.2 thousand by 25 to 35. By 35 to 45, it says the median savings is 36,000, and the average savings is about $97,000 between 35 to 44 years old. 45 to 55, 45 to 54, excuse me, is 61.5 thousand, or $61,500, and the average savings is $179,200. And 55 to 64, the median saving is 89.7 thousand, and the average is $256,200. And then, of course, when you get to 65 plus, the median is 87.7 thousand, so $87,700, and $280,000 is the average savings that Americans have. And you look at this, right? And I've been thinking that, okay, average savings for someone like, let's say like you're 55, the average savings is $256,000. $256,200. Now, let's say you live for 55, you live for another until you're about 85, 30 years roughly, right? Okay. So it's 256,000 divided by 30 is about $8,500 a year that you can spend out of that savings before it's depleted. Now, if you take the $8,533 and divide it into 12, that's $711 that you can take a month from your savings until it's depleted. And the question is that enough? It's like $700 to $1,000 enough money, do you think, for you to live on for the rest of your life? And if it's not, given that Social Security may not be here and you're going to be very limited as to what you can do when you're older because of maybe health, what is your plan to build money up? Now, I'm not my goal is not to depress you and on a Sunday night any more than you may already be. But my goal is to motivate you to think about how you structure the rest of your time. If you are 55 to 64, you don't have time to just sit here and you know try a little of this. I mean, to do nothing essentially. You have to do multiple things. You have to take action on things to make it to generate some income for yourself so that you can build for yourself something in retirement that actually works for you. One of the best ways to do it is actually, I think, YouTube. Now, my channel is still not monetized yet. I'm working towards it. Some of you who may watch this later or even now, you know, my goal is to get there, hopefully within the next few months. But like I'm building towards a better channel that will help also be an income stream for me in the future. And as I build income, I'll show it to you and I'll let you know how much I'm making from YouTube, like a lot of the other YouTubers are doing. But oftentimes I talk about business and business strategy and how to make businesses better. And I know I get it. A lot of times the people who are watching my channel may be small business owners. They may be not be small business owners, and they may be trying to figure out if they want to do a business or start a side hustle. Start one, whatever it is, and start now. And do something that you enjoy doing. Do something that you're good at, that you can make money with, and then take that money and either use it to build income producing assets, um, or excuse me, assets that produce income. And yeah, income producing assets. That's what it would be. Or try to use it to, just invest and to grow. Let your money grow and let it pay you back. All the work that you've done over the years trying to get it into your bank account. My goal is for everyone who listens to this channel to be successful. And I've interviewed so many people, and I will interview so many people coming out to discuss this. So, I've interviewed people about how to start an online business in midlife. I have interviewed Andrea Bailey Brown. She is a franchise owner for Jiffy Lube. They do a few $1 million a year in Canada across 3 Jiffy Lube locations. I believe she just added another company to her portfolio, her and her husband. I have interviewed Jim Adams, who just recently actually sold his business a few months ago. He was in the health and wellness industry. He specifically had a boutique fitness studio that he sold for profit, and he used that to focus on that time now to focus on his health, because he had a couple things that have cropped up. Him crossing that 50 barrier. All you 50-year-olds listening to this show tonight, you know that things crop up, and got to be prepared for them when they do. And so the best way to be prepared for them is to have something that can generate income and have a number in mind that you need to get to, that you're working towards, instead of just working. As humans, I think that we do much better with goals than just kind of wandering the earth trying to figure out life and letting life just do something like work. I don't know, act on you versus you acting on it. I've interviewed one of the probably one of my most watched interviews actually was Jackson Milan. Jackson Milan from, I think it's Oris Financial in Australia, but they work worldwide with clients. They teach how to build wealth and what building wealth looks like and how it feels to build wealth, and why it's important that even if you have a job, that you can break out of the mindset and the mold of not being able to generate enough income that gives you a good lifestyle simply because you're working a job. But we also talked about wealth vehicles in that podcast. We talked about the people who typically earn the most and what they're doing to earn the most. Like, I've had really good conversations. I spoke to Dr. Amanda Barrientos. from NFA money, not frigging around money, right? Like she had we talked about like money blocks and how a lot of people have a certain kind of relationship with money that is not necessarily always positive. And what are you going to do about it? You may have preconceived notions about money and how money works, and you may have money blocks that you don't even know are money blocks. Have a certain do you justify how work, um how you save or spend money based off of past how you were raised and how the kind of the money rules that you had growing up? Are you a poor manager of money? When as you are growing successful, are you not managing your money because you have some idea about how money actually works? Like all these things, the mental aspect come into play. I've also interviewed, I'm trying to think now. What's his name? I've interviewed Jody Rawell from Tenet Financial. We talked about different ways that you can fund a business and get a business started. Like if you're working for someone and you're looking to take the next step and go into business ownership, what that looks like, what it feels like, and how there are more than one channel to get money so that you can open a business and that you can buy a business or invest in a business that actually works, that you can grow, that you can turn into an investment. And that was a really good conversation because there's more than one way to create financing for yourself for you to get into business, right? Like you can do a family and friends round of money raising to try to get money for you to start a business. I mean, but there's other ways for you to go too. Now, one thing I've learned, I think, over the years is that there's not just one way to run or to start a business. And my goal with this podcast is to help you win back time, gain freedom, and live life on your own terms, because that is what makes people truly happy. You should be able to, if you want to travel and do a little bit of work, you should be able to do that. If you want to be able to, I don't know, join the circus, hop a train, and ride across country, then you should be able to do that too, right? But like you can't do that unless you have the options, the freedom to be able to do that, the time that one needs to be able to get to that point. So I was thinking about that today, and yesterday when I had that conversation on the radio with Treese. So, and it's funny because we were breaking down the actual amount that an individual needs to have, and or her in particular, but like what that number might look like, and it's oftentimes bigger than you think. And however, you may have the skills and ability to get there faster than you think, and you just have no idea that you have the skills and the ability to get there, but you do. You just have to nurture them. You have to surround yourself with people who encourage you to use your skills in a way that benefits people, as opposed to people who detract from your ability to use your skills, people who take away from those skills, people who always want something from you and diminish your skills, or are negative, tell you that you're never going to be able to accomplish something or anything like that. When people are messed up, get them out of your life. It's the best way to do it. The best way to be able to live life without having regrets is to surround yourself with people who are interested in adding to your success. And yeah, and so that's kind of like how you should think about your. It's interesting because investment circle could be a group of individual investors who are looking to build a some kind of investment company or fund so they can invest. Or your investment circle could be, the definition of that can be greater than just money. It could also be personality, social, monetary, could be all those things. And oftentimes our quote investment circle is a combination of people who encourage us to do things and make changes and be better than we normally, and strive after things that we wouldn't normally strive after, while simultaneously holding, having our back, right? When things don't work out. And those people are people that we need. We need both of those people in our lives. So yeah, so I want you to assess what you're doing and assess what in your, like, if you've been thinking about, if you're a truck driver or you work for someone, you've been thinking about starting your business. What is it that's holding you back? Is it fear? And then fear of what? Are you scared that nobody is going to buy what you have? No one's going to buy your product or your service? Are you afraid that people are going to criticize you? And if that's the case, welcome to the club. Because by definition, when you become a business owner and you make your business public or available for public consumption, you're opening yourselves up to criticism, and people will criticize you. I had someone who came in to my business who complained about a $30 fee that on the contract it said that this fee was clearly going to be charged. And because, and here's the thing, this person was just, I don't know, they were a bad seed from the beginning. And so she wanted her money back. And that happens from time to time. People want their money back. What are you going to do? And so I said, no, I'm not giving you your money back. It clearly says non-refundable, lady. Non-refundable. No way. Jose. Okay. And so she took exception to that. I didn't say Jose in her face. I felt like saying Jose in her face, but I didn't. And she did a chargeback. So you know what a chargeback is, right? It's when you call your credit card company, you lie to them, in her case, and you say that, oh, well, he didn't give me what I paid for, therefore I don't want to pay for it, and it's fraud. And so the company does an investigation, and they call the merchant to see. So what happens when you file a chargeback, you may have 0% liability from your credit card, fraud liability. But remember, it's 0% fraud liability. So you can't just say, I didn't pay for this or I didn't get this. And just because you're pissed off that someone charged you and then think you're going to get money back, that's not how it works. That's not what that provision is there for. And they're going to investigate, just so you know. If you do a chargeback, they are going to investigate. That is their job. So she did a chargeback. And I'm looking at this. The football game is wrong too. So I'm talking to you and I'm checking the score at the same time. So she did a chargeback. She lost the chargeback. She got pissed. She was mad before. And then I smacked the hornet's nest because I won the chargeback. I sent the paper in. The credit card company calls you and they're like, hey, did this person get the service? Do you have a contract? And of course, I do, because I'm not an idiot. Whenever you do business with someone, receipts, one for you, one for them, one contract for them, one contract for you, just in case you need to prove that they indeed got what they paid for and they signed the bottom line when it came to the small print and the things that, the little things like small fees or whatever the case is. She lost the chargeback. And she got mad. This woman was mad. So she texted me like 2 straight weeks just being petty, looking for a $30 fee that I charged her. That, which, by the way, was also on the contract. She would not give up. So I told her to beat it. She didn't like that very much. So she ended up writing a review on Google reviews. Well, first she wrote one on Yelp, which I hate Yelp. That's a whole nother story. But then she wrote one on Google reviews. Excuse me. And she was like, oh, good workout. Sometimes no, she said just an average workout. So now she's like she's being a jerk, right? Average, you'll get an average workout, but beware because um, they charge you fees without telling you. This lady was being a complete and utter tool bag. She was a tool. The fact that she did that, she should be ashamed of herself. Like, so ashamed. I was ashamed. I won, so I wasn't like feeling too bad. I didn't have to give her money back, but she should have felt ashamed of herself. What's my point of telling you all this? I can't remember because the story went on like so long. But it was that negative things are going to happen in business. People are going to say things to you, about you, around you. They're going to whisper things in your ear. They're going to try to act like they know more than you do about your journey. They're going to make comments about your journey. They're going to demean, in some respect, your journey. You have to stay strong. The number one trait of people who are looking to grow their business and become entrepreneurs is resilience. You can't fold like a cheap suit. You have got to be able to take criticism. There's a lot of people out there that can't take criticism. It's amazing. And when criticism actually happens, when it comes, these people are like, they fold like a cheap suit. And you got to be better than that. Criticism is so important because it helps you become better at what you do. And you're going to need that on your journey, whether it's starting a business or just trying to build wealth. So, anyways, that's what I think about that. That's what I think about you building wealth. Or you taking the time out to actually address your future, your retirement. It's so important to be able to save for your future or to be able to have the money available for the future. So now remember this. Okay. I said save, but what I really meant to say is it's really important to have that money available for the future. And that money can be available in different ways. Now, some of it could be liquid, which makes that cash available immediately to you, or some of it could be in hard assets, which makes it available after a brief period of asset management and liquidizing those assets to use as cash. But whatever your desire is for the future, it should be based and backed with the fact that you had a plan from the beginning and then you executed that plan. I want you to be all set for the future. And so if you started a business, that's why I started this podcast, because I want to help you get better at being a business owner and building wealth. I bring on people here that are wildly successful, or people here who are experts at what they do to help you round out what you do to make you better. I'm going to try to do a little bit more personal wealth and like stock things, stock shows like this year, I think. I've been kind of leaning very heavily on the building business side, making your businesses better. And part of that is because I believe that, you should be able to turn your business. It's like the low hanging fruit. You turn your business into an asset that you don't have to go personally and manage, and the money can just work for you. Like you figure out a way to get your business, turn your business into a machine that generates cash that you don't have to go and actually work for. That's an income producing asset, even though it's a business. Don't be fooled. An asset is just not real estate or Rolex watches that can be sold or precious metals. Your business is actually an asset that can produce income, but there's a way that you have to do it in order to be successful. So there's that. And I've spent a lot of time doing that. this year I'm gonna do that because that's my bread and butter, and I'm gonna add in a little more of these personal tropes, stories, lessons, because these personal stories are really important. Because at the end of the day, we're all people and we all have basic needs, as I opened with. We all have certain desires that we want to see fulfilled, and part of those desires are going to come from, part of the satisfying of those desires are going to become from the work that you do now. I don't want you to waste time. There's too much wasted time right now. I say that while you're currently watching me on YouTube. This is not a waste of time because this is supposed to be encouraging for you, but I want you to be encouraged by what I'm saying. So there's that. So I think this year there's going to be a lot more personal. Not a lot more, but I'm going to add in a lot of personal money coaching, personal finance coaching, like stocks, other assets, real estate. I'm going to bring in people who are gurus and to talk about that, and we'll recap. I'm also going to do more lives this year. I think the lives are important. I think I want to hear from you live. If you have business questions, I charge a lot of money for a consultation, so it's probably better for you to join my live and ask a question if you have a question about business or something like that. I think it's way more important, way more crucial to do that. And so don't forget to join live. Whenever you see that notification pop up that I went live, you should come. So yeah, that's what I think. So anyways, thought I would go live tonight. Well, coming up on like 40 minutes or so. I think I'm going to end there. But if you have any questions, you can watch live, send a comment, send an email, let me know. All right. Don't forget, you should check out, this is not a suggestion. I'm commanding you to go check out my other videos that I've done. The conversations I've had, see which one works best for you. If it's on wealth building, real estate, that kind of stuff. So, and just look at the conversation, see how it applies to you, and keep tuning in because it's going to be something that does apply to you that you can leverage. I want to hear your stories too. Like, what are your goals? I want to be able to help you assess your goals and then put together the framework for how to build a better financial future for you based off of you building assets and wealth building. So that's what my goal is for you and for me and for the show, and talk about life and some other things too. So that would be fun. All right, I'm going to head out now. Thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. Let me just roll this outro here so that you can look at some videos that I have that I've already made. Talk to you later. Peace.